Welcome everyone, my name is Paul Casey and I'm the director of the Ó Bhéal Winter Warmer Festival and one of the two judges in this year's Ó Bhéal Poetry Film Competition, the other being the poet Dareina Chinnéide from the Gaeltacht Irish speaking area of County Kerry, and Dareina is also a fine filmmaker. I can speak for both of us when I say we both took tremendous pleasure in watching all of these entries from a bumper 49 countries this year. And I believe that by coincidence, Guinness is brewed in 49 different countries around the world. So as we still don't have an official sponsor for the competition, now in its 8th year, if there's anyone out there from Guinness watching, we would love to hear from you. Due to the large increase in submissions, 288 to be exact, we had a hard time omitting a lot of really good films. So we decided to increase the shortlist to 38 this year. The first screening of these will now be shown here, the first 19 films, and the second set will follow shortly after at about 3:30 p.m. That's GMT. So we hope you enjoy our selection. There are more details on each of the films on our website, synopses and director bios, etc. The overall winner will be announced directly after the very last film is shown here at about 4:30 p.m. Enjoy!
I like the walk the morning after a storm, when the beach road has flooded into stream, and the field flooded into marsh, and the reeds dancing madly in that wind that's up, and the swallows darting and catching wing on that wind that's up, and it looks like a joyous way to be flying. The colour of the sea always looks more alive to me the morning after a storm, and the wind chasing shadows down the strand, and the light coming and the light going, and the whole thing so alive. I never check the weather forecast, and I don't check the tides. I prefer to land into the day and find it how I find it. And if there's wild wind, I walk with my face bared into it, watching swallows catching wing, seeing the river rushing and rolling onwards. Sometimes I overhear somebody saying something like, "The rain's to come on Tuesday," like a relative visiting from the States who gives a few days warning ahead of arrival and no definitive date of departure. And I'll know to expect it, but I won't pay too much mind at the same time. There's some days I'm dull or I'm with doubt, and neither do I check the forecast for these. But I'll sense an arrival and I'll know to expect it, and I won't pay too much mind at the same time. It is what it is. I've learned that weather round here changes often, much like myself. Walking out of the sea this morning, having swum, one wind drove the waves backwash high into the air and towards me as caught, flung foam cast against me bare skin, and at the same time the swash wave crashed towards the shore, coming from behind me, driving me forward, marching back to the shoreline onto land. A wind on my back as much as a wind against me, and the fizz and cascade and the drama of the whole thing spoke to me as a gesture towards Bhéal, that great word in Irish that suggests the spirit of livingness. There will always be hard times, there will always be changing winds. I hope to God there will always be swallows darting and swinging in swift murmurations, catching wing on wild winds. In the mornings for a time, and in the early evenings for a time, I try to sit and not try, and for these times I am very still. Being still, I am no less with Bhéal, though it is a different way of being with Bhéal. There is then a different angle to the waves and to the winds that play within me, a kind of circular constantness in the stillness, not rigid but at the same time rooted, much like those reeds swishing and swaying in changing dances with weather, knowing they're connected or anchored or tethered to the great earth from which they've sprung. We are small things that do great amounts of thinking, existing amidst great things like waves, winds, swallows, reeds, sheathed in skins that cover our bodies and our bones, and thinking minds and thinking guts that react to changes, predicted or otherwise, in weather and in circumstance and in emotion. Sometimes I try to not try, and in doing so become ready to catch wing on whichever wind is blowing, my place within the swift swinging murmuration of humankind, thinking and existing as a man, a reed, a swallow, a wave, affected, affecting, tethered, sprung, Bhéal.
To the wind. The sea wind slipped through the mountains and caught me, trying to taste me. Am I salty enough for such a rabble? Touching my skin, is it soft and thin? Do I have goosebumps? Is my heart beating fast? And is the blood boiling in the flesh? Breathing me in, do I smell of the green and grey bustle of the city? Its nuts and plums, olives and wine. The wind embraces me with warm waves, salty and iodine scents. And among the sounds that the human ear can barely catch, I hear, I would like to see you again.
Il aura d'abord fallu naître. Les statues se réveilleront un jour, habitées d'une impression nouvelle. Les corps, fiers jadis de leur retenue, laisseront voir le sang couler jusqu'aux chevilles. Ils se montreront en beauté. Ainsi sera expiée la terreur qui saisissait les petites filles la première fois. En sera définitivement dissoute. Les gens qui manqueront le train ce jour-là réaliseront que sa destination importait bien peu, au fond. Cette année-là, les oiseaux auront cessé par milliers de choix, inexplicablement. Quant aux poissons d'avril, on les laissera nager librement, ou dans leur sang. De tout ce qui vit, un germe jaillira par le haut, la liberté verte et fourchue, tandis que dans le sol plongeront les racines avides de conviction. Puis ce sera l'été, le profond, le chaleureux équilibre, et l'on ne distinguera plus aucun corps, plus qu'une ample moisson comme une éparse symphonie. Tout alors on doit, tout psalmodie fortement ses paroles. Il s'agit bien d'une révolution, la fin de la rancune et de la dislocation des fleurs.
In my backyard, in my new romper, I sit soaking up the sun on the armless lounge chair from IKEA. I'm not worried. I won't turn red. Next to the 100 arugula seedlings in my biodynamic garden, the chirping and buzzing is so loud. It disturbs my despair. In my backyard, I fight with the squirrels over the strawberries. I psych up my dog to go after them. I whisper, "Squirrel, squirrel," in a silly German accent. And she goes nutso, obediently charging after something. She's not sure what. But no one gets hurt in my backyard. A pair of doves visits. Only blossoms unfold in real time. In my backyard, so colorful, so white, my grandmother rests tranquilly inside, undisturbed by nighttime noises. In my backyard, sometimes I pull out my phone, and nothing happens.
Paddy Allen parked his precious car off the road and up on the footpath, out of harm's way, or so he thought. A tidy bachelor in his 40s, he loved that Austin Cambridge, the very first car on our street. His pale blue pride and joy, with a flash of white along its side, the gleaming windscreen and shiny strips of pristine chrome, reflecting everything. I'm warning you now, if that bloody ball hits my car again, I'll stick a knife in it. And true to his word, he did. When it thumped the car once more, then bounced along the polished bonnet, he lunged and grabbed the guilty ball and disappeared inside his own front door. Through the wide open kitchen window, we heard a desperate gasp of air as he stabbed the pumped up plastic. Then one last brief, then breathy sigh, becoming silence, shock and disbelief. A clutch of speechless kids trying not to cry. As if ashamed by his own anger, without a word, he flung the limp, deflated lump into the street, collapsed and crumpled, a first victim lying at our feet.
Push open the door, walk straight onto the dance floor. Eyes instantly bore as we begin to dance like whores. At least that's what you saw. An invitation when you watch my legs moving as you started to move in. See, we formed a little group, maybe 3 or 4 girls, laughing, dancing, consumed in our own world, and then we break for a second, realise we've been penned in, go into defence mode as we start fending. Cause we started off in the middle, but little by little we've been pushed up against a wall as crowds of you falling, forcing, forming a discord in our balling. You stand and stare leering and sneering with your mates gearing up for the night. You watch me like I'm a show. And your arrogance is actually laughable. I mean, it's admirable that you can be so delusional to think I've even considered you. To think anything I'm doing is because of you. Oh, babe. So fuck you, I ignore and move to a different part of the floor. But you see this as a play, a cat and mouse game coming out on display. But I will never be your prey. So I stay. Don't move away. Stand my ground as I ground you with a look that I'm sure is bound to get you to back off. But of course, you've been taught the more a girl says no, the more she means yes. So you pester and fester around, and the more I avoid, the more you try to fill this void in between us. And there's a sickening feeling in my gut that you don't even discuss before you grab me. Hands inappropriately touching without asking for permission or checking for permission or even considering permission. And when I say, hey, back the fuck off, do you even listen? Or do you just persist and insist that this is what I want, that I'm asking for it? Here's the thing. I don't ask for anything. If I want something, I take it, work for it and fight for it till it's mine. See, I find as a woman you can't do things half-assed. Asking for something doesn't quite fulfill the full task. So if I wanted to dance with you, I would have gone and done it. I wouldn't wait for you to come to press your penis against my bum, thumbs wandering on my hips like shit. I asked for it. And see, because of this, some girls stay at the side, controlling their vibes to dance, and while you think they're scared of a little bit of sweat chits, when I look in their eyes, I understand that you think they're prudes, but they're actually saving themselves from abuse from you. But I refuse to be modest. I came to dance, and no one's gonna stop this, so I'ma wind and grind as I'm a goes from behind, as our bodies intertwine. I'ma bend and snap as I wrap myself down into a slut drop, dropping and stopping as I'm crouching and prowling, then slowly come towering back up. I'm rolling, unfolding my body, leaning into my curse, feeling myself, feeling the fucking music in myself. I'ma scrape back my hair, cause I don't care what I look like. Beads of sweat dripping down my neck, the beat pulsing through my body, keeping me moving as the feeling is brewing. I'm choosing to dance like this. And I'm dancing like this cause the music is moving me too. I'm dancing like this cause my body is seeing me through. And I'm dancing like this cause I want to. I'm definitely not dancing like this for you.
E ngā manu nui, manuiti, I te ata hāpara aro atu rā. Ki te hihi whero o te paitawhiti. I reira rire ai te kāroro. Inuhia te tai, ka mānu te pōkai. Ngā kāpua nui e pāroro ai. I reira rere ai te kairoro. Kai hororangi. Ka hīkina ngā parirau I te puna hau a tā whirirangi. Rere atu rā, ma te waiata aroha o tō iwi e kawe, ma te tirohanga o tō maunga e whakamanua nui. Rere atu rā, ma te kākara o tō moanai manaki, ma te kōrero o tūpuna hei huruhuru. Huki mai. E ngā manu o te ngāhere, I te awatea whaiā te iti kahurangi. I te ata pō, tau mai anō. Ki te kāinga, te kōhanga, tukua, kia ngā taumanoa.
I can almost hear Dad's boots crunching dry leaves beside me. It's 3 days before his birthday. He would have been 83. And I am walking through our woods in January. Polio attacked my dad when he was a young kid. Luckily, he survived the crippling disease, but his body was never the same. He had to strengthen his muscles again, and my aunt tells us he would exercise in their front yard in town, working through moves, getting stronger, for all to see. This morning, walking through the woods, I discovered paper-thin ice hovering above a sinkhole. Recent heavy rainwater had flowed up from the limestone depths, freezing into brittle complexities. Now I look down at the art of ice at my feet, and like the ice, my heart is sharp today, and I can hear the past beside me. Years ago, when my wife and I bought, Dad helped us to rebuild the place, rewiring all of the electrical, showing us how to hang drywall right, reshingling the roof. I remember cold beers and glasses of wine on summer nights after working. I remember the roar of cicadas. Now in the cold winter woods, I almost slide down into this temporary pond, the sound of breaking glass at my feet. When Dad was well into his second disease, the disease of Alzheimer's, he and I sat on their front porch in the prime of Indiana summer, and he said matter-of-factly, "I saw people moving through the corn yesterday." "You saw people?" I asked. "Yes," he said. "You saw people in the corn?" He paused. "Yes." "What were they doing?" "Oh, they were just moving from there," he pointed, "to over there." And his pointing covered miles of cornfield. "Moving fast," he said. "Crowds of them." Were they real?" He thought about it, then said, "Yes, they were real. I just watched them." I did not know how Dad's energetic roofing would turn into seeing ghosts of people in the corn. I did not know how his precise electrical work would dissolve into not knowing how to start the lawnmower. I did not anticipate helping him in the bathroom with his belt, with everything. Bringing a glass of water to his mouth at the dinner table and reminding him who I was. We did not know what complexities would form as clarity receded, as the world shifted beneath him. It was much later then when he asked, "What do I do with this?" This was before his sudden decline. This was in the kitchen, sitting at the table. He gripped a spoon in his hand and food was spread out before him on his plate. Panic knotted his voice. "What do I do with this?" I tried on a smile and reached out and held his hand that held the spoon. "You do this," I said. And I showed him how.
I lost my home from the very moment I stepped from my mother's womb. Not just me, but a country I call my home, filled with silvers, diamonds, and gold. But at my age, I still live without a home.
My legs were swept from my parents' house by some tremendous heavy windstorms, which dragged my body beneath the street storms. The street becomes a host. No back roads, it becomes my home.
We move from place to place along street corners, diligently searching for sleeping point for the night rest. The street speaks secret in our ears, in a language only an homeless man can understand.
The deaths are countless. Reckless war, separation of the two parents leads to homeless, timeless, fearless, helpless, but not hopeless.
My head have not lay in a bed since the last time my mouth tasted bread. I've been starving for years. Like heavy rains, that's how my eyes have been pouring tears. Please, save us from this freezing breeze.
A home that's full of pain and tears. A home that's all fake dreams. A home that had no chair to sit on, no place to sleep, no food to eat. I ask myself, why is life like this?
I'm less to the core. I'm depressed even more. So my existence is diminished, and I am no more.
Homeless I have become. God forbid I got sick. Left and right, help I seek. My strength is being upheld. I have been broken into pieces. Mind you, I have no spare parts.
We face nothing but humiliation, frustration, and not celebration on the streets. People think we don't have the ability, quality, mentality to rule a city. We are homeless.
In the streets covered with broken aspirations, among lonely souls, I am a lonely soul that have been housed but never been homed.
How can I think right, daytime or night, when I have no bed to lay my head? No phone, no woman, no kids to fed. Sometimes I feel like being with the dead. It's dangerous, scary, but I choose that instead of being homeless.
We are homeless, we are roofless, cause poverty is my darkness. In terms of stress, no room for happiness. Street life leave me with no choice but to survive and stay alive.
I was born in a home, hoping to educate myself, but my dream was shattered and battered by a bloody civil war, which left me homeless, like a sheep in the wilderness.
I have strived for a home, but it keeps running away from me. My body is thirsty for comfort. The streets is a beautiful hell I don't want to live in. I am tired of folding my bones, fighting against the night's cold. I need someone to fix my broken future.
In the year of not caring, I discovered that I like my body even yet, how it opens into itself in the light. I remembered all of it, concavity, convexity, bones and skin and heart. I still wanted some thunderous justice, some knife to the guts of them, some deadly blow, though I made efforts to show kindness, to keep my judgments to myself. I discovered an old book of longing, a list that keeps growing. I wasn't one person and never had been. I talked myself out of things. I still wanted some bell-like truth ringing. I wanted the spirits to reveal themselves and speak clearly for once. Ghosts of starvation, of blood, walking the streets of the town, crying.
Some days when I walk this hill, following my dog up the first steep steps, through ferns and nettles, then on and up into the ever-thickening rhododendron woods, their unreal hallucinogenic blooms like Chinese lanterns. I imagine they're on the opposite side and climbing too at a more or less similar pace. Another man with another dog, advancing with the same determined strides I fall into unthinkingly, until emerging from thick leaf shade into open air, we crest the peak together. 2 dogs, 2 men, each pair circling the other before moving off on the trace of a scent or the glimpse of something far off, across parks and roads and housing estates, the sun reflecting in a single window pane.
mechanical brain escapes the pain of impatience. One step away, always one step away from stillness. An idea of how to be the intangible illness. Ideals painted by weed, psychedelics and ecstasy. Revisited now by hours spent, swept off my feet, plugged in as these substances finger bang the hesitance within, with such innocence. Small talk buddies with muddy eye sockets, money quick from pocket to pocket. I'd wait a few minutes, even a couple of hours for my lift, like watching the post box for a birthday gift. Such innocence, the hesitance that is, justified I know as I'm shown in an instance, powers that simply could not have been homegrown, flowers breeding perfect colours, strangers greeted as lost sisters and brothers with instant knowledge that all are lovers. And with my gaze unglazed, I hover, watch my deepest dreams uncovered, and I follow them, gently caressing my face with a pen I found and saved from being drowned in a puddle on the ground. Eyes closed, my brain's a classical piano, breathing slow, but intense. Heart pounding, I imagine a dark lord taking a hit of my hesitance. Sitting back, relaxing, as the seeds have been planted. See, thing is, you can't stay in Neverland. Muscles tire, endorphins fade. You become a mere spectator of the whole charade. A critic clinging to glory faded.
For a fix. I've got some of the highest grade shit. Come over here. Seriously, it's some of the finest gear you'll find on the street. It's pure, not cut, 100% neat. I'll do you a deal. I'll do it for cheap. You look like a discerning customer. Tell me, what is it you're after? I've got the stuff that will blow your mind. The trippy, psychedelic kind. It's called Allen Ginsberg. You take it by the line and I guarantee you a bloody good time. If you're bouncing off the walls and you feel you need a downer, or you're having issues with your father, a touch of Sylvia Plath under the tongue is the dose you're after. If you're the kind of person who likes to booze, a shot of Dylan Thomas is what you might choose. It will be like there are words dancing in your ear. Or perhaps you'd like a bit of Shakespeare? You can swallow one sonnet for that warm, loving feeling, or two for a bit of that Midsummer Night's Dreaming. But don't take any more. The come down can be brutal. I knew this young couple that were left suicidal. And if you do feel like you're drowning, a huff of Stevie Smith will have you waving and back to raving. Now, don't be such a cliche, I don't have any Molly, but I do have some Holly. McNish, that will show you reality like it really is, when chances are you'll want to get naked. If you want to dance to the beat of a London street, try a bump of Kate Tempest. Sure, it might make you feel angry or stressed, but I promise you'll no longer feel repressed. Over here I've got some rupee core if something a bit more instant is what you're looking for. Now this is some Oscar Wilde. Does what it says on the tin, it's far from mild. I even saw a chap once hallucinate that he was in a handbag as a child. For a similar effect, if you're planning a road trip, a dab of Chaucer inside your lip and it'll be like you've got company. You'll hear loads of voices talking funny. And for something just as effective but a little bit cheaper, what I have here is the open mic regular. Now this is one you can directly inject and it's hardly likely to show up in a test. So, what do you want for your next fix? Don't worry, with these you can pick and mix. Basically, all of this can take you on an unbelievable trip with no sweating, no gurning, there might even be some learning. Sure, it might make your brain swell, but that's from all the extra grey cells. So, do you want to buy some poetry? It might just make you see the world differently.
When it brews, it feels how you are housed. When you know, it skips around your palace. When you capture one, it stones your mirrors. When you name it, it grows 3 many heads. When you discover its lights, an etching begins. Hear me, hear me, hear me, we are all speaking. The Council of Self has decided. We confirm that we accept in unison all of you as they come. Reflect as you like, let light in, burn candles down to thumb sizes till introductions are done. For tomorrow we marry them all, chewing gum all that you are, landing, strip them to pieces. We live anyway. I live anyway. And Feli speaks. We nominate the one that carries Thunderwell, the one that permeates the soft borders of our homelands. The soot she wears like skin enters the night of unexpected gathering. Not needing to be eternal, just to sand time slowly. We elect this representative to shoulder talent like an unrepentant drunkard, adamant on raising the roof of the bar. We call her light where we come from. In our household, this one only holds the bulb and the mic.
Dear Romeo, hope your week has started better than mine. It is noisy and grey, and I keep reliving our city break. And all the things I didn't say. On the news, the coronavirus in China, isolation hospitals, face masks, the rising infection rates, and deaths. 500 feet away, a Roman column, weathered, graining, revealed by rough edges, yet still standing tall and strong. Outside our window, a burst helium balloon. Centuries of you wouldn't be enough, and I want to tell you, but how can anyone write a decent love poem right now? Beside the bed, an empty glass, like a hospital tumbler that no longer needs filling. I grip you tighter. Romeo, I miss you. See you Friday. Love, your Juliet.
Dear Juliet, how long do you really think till this is over? It's like the world's gone crazy. I've never been bothered about birthdays. Drinks with mates, a card from mum. Nothing this quiet though. I suppose it's not every year the date's marked by national lockdown. And I breakfast at the last McMuffins as Macca's closes its doors and normality stops. Who needs champagne when I've got the fizz of historic anxiety and isolation? All for free, no requirement for gift wrap or bows. Packaged in fear, presented with thousands of words, fake news, false hopes, stockpiled horror, and face masks that won't even catch the hint of a sneeze. Stay home, please, so I know you're safe. Love, R.
Dear Romeo, waking to a new dawn feels cold without you. Working from home is not enough distraction. My mind keeps racing like it's entered for the Grand National, steeplechasing between fears. You ask about my day, and it feels lame to share my moaning. Still, I wake from surreal dreams, heart galloping, to a night train's thud and clank, pulling unbearable loads. I imagine the virus as snow, falling, dangerous, deceptive, undiscernible. Invisible flakes envelop the landscape with cling film, empty the streets, desolate shops and busy car parks. The sun remains, apocalyptic bright, bursting across rooftops, slicing through leaves, sprinkling violets across next door's lawn, goldening corn, greening long grass, the only cumuli, sheep and lambs bleating in the fields. I am the lone ghost cycling through. Familiar lanes made strange yet still, burbling with birdsong and blossom. Pedalling against braking, I wonder if what I'm breathing in are gulps of happy hope or slow sadness. It's easiest not to think, to sift my feelings for hard bits, then cling film the rest. Safe, distanced, uninfectious. See you soon, I hope. Love you. Love, Juliet.
Dear Jay, shorter note today as I have to phone Mum and check on how she's coping, then Zoom some stupid meetings. The dialogue in my head that's now starting to be voiced out loud by colleagues is, let me get this straight, scientists have been warning for years that a pandemic was likely, that the virus could easily have been transmittable through the air, or had 40 or 60% death rate, and a totalitarian state has handled it far better than any of our democracies. I swear, you, Juliet, are the only thing that keeps me sane, the only thing that still makes sense. Love, R.
Dear Romeo, my first meltdown today. I'm not sure why. Something I saw on Facebook. The fact that normally I'd be on the train on my way to see you, or already there. But no, it's not just that. I'm hiding how I feel because I don't want to infect you too. Diabetics are vulnerable, they say. We must avoid going out for shopping. But diabetics are not extremely vulnerable, so may not book online shopping slots. When the nameless, unpaid servants of the state have sent their letters to extremes, maybe they'll post out cyanide pills to the rest caught in between. Unless they manage to sort it even quicker by simply telling diabetics not to worry. When the other shelves are emptied, we can always pick up a Mars or Snickers. But that's my anger talking. Wild words that still don't match the sharp jabbing. Truth is, I want to be with you. I hope these weeks won't feel as long and stifling if I start to tally off the days past and treat them like a string of worry beads. Love you. See you soon. Your Juliet.
Dear Juliet, I can't believe we spent the weekend on WhatsApp chatting. We'll have 10 years of normal couples conversations by the time this is all finished. I feel calmer, hopeful when we're on the phone together. I've tried out your advice, meditation, music, breathing. I try not to count the slow drip of weeks, days, hours. My trapped mind creates so many different kinds of bars, but at least there, you're locked down with me. Love, Romeo.
Dear Romeo, how fast do you reckon it takes for the whole world to break? I feel like we're living in a disaster movie, but no one gave us the proper script, and the crew haven't fixed a happy ending. A 13-year-old boy dead too now. The news makes me cry and shiver. It's hard to live so long alone, harder still when I miss you like this. See you soon, ish. Love, Juliet.
Dear Juliet, I keep thinking that I should be packing my rucksack to come and see you. You there, me here is stupid. We could have moved in together, should have moved in together long before this even started. I'm sorry I never asked. Do you think we could do that? Sort jobs, find a flat. Once it's over, it'll soon be like a distant nightmare, forgotten. But actually, I don't want that. I want to take this and make things better. Love, Romeo.
Dear Romeo, yes, of course yes. The only yes that matters today. We've given up 3 weeks, and this chaos can't last forever. We can work from home now, wherever. We've sacrificed and made do. Some things that change, we should be allowed to keep. Only wish we hadn't waited. See you soon, but never soon enough. Love, Juliet.
Churches vacant, the public houses closed, families forced to make some conversation. Monday morning, not a sinner on the road to work or school. Empty buses break, one low dead air that might be carrying contagion. Churches vacant, the public houses closed. You hide in plain sight in your own abode. Remove your homely self to your workstation. It's Monday morning, not a sinner on the road. And that report you promised won't upload. You calculate percent of population. Churches vacant, the public houses closed. The things you knew for certain now unknown. Faith to doubt to boredom, concatenation. Monday again, not a sinner on the road. Why would there be? The speed of life has slowed to a limp, a dying generation. And churches vacant, the public houses closed. Monday morning, not a sinner on the road.
Taking photographs? The biggest load of shite. Step to the left. And now to the right. Oh, and by the way, make sure to look into the light. In a slice of a second, into the lens she looks. She becomes a character she took. Everything she wants to be kind of is, but also not really. Circus scams behind flashing lights. A girl in photograph. A wine-glazed mind caught inside a ghostly grid. Smiles hiding at the bottom of a bottle. Or inside another girl's eyes. Places the me-bit dies. So throw that blinding light on me. Cover my face with lies. Protect me with a projection of perfection. Drowning in self-expectation. Keep me there until I can't breathe. Case. Let's take it from the top. The shot that suffocates me taught me who I could be, but alas, the shutter will drop, and I am reluctantly me again.
Barefoot, I walk to the hen house, lift the door, reach into a sanctuary of straw, find the egg warm in the cup of my hand. The new hen still cuckling, I drop the egg into a pot of water, butter toast, measure time. Everything stops as I eat. My stale thoughts and musty breath. And I remember Ellie Byrne and me, looking up through cherry blossoms at stars and the young night, our warm round bellies, before the eggs began to fall.